and welcome to another session of my channel. And I wanted to talk about something that I wish I knew when I had started my life of meditation, my spiritual life. So that is uh, how to control the mind and how important it is, and how there's no need to freak out or worry so much about and stress out about uh, like why we can't concentrate or why we can't meditate, etc., etc., and how to do that all very easily. Now, before I start, I want to share some experiences with you about my spiritual life. Thing that many people had told me when I had started my spiritual life, that a work environment, like while meditating and having a regular routine of uh, meditation and whatever we were doing spiritually, other than that, a work environment would be helpful for spiritual life. Why? Because it would continually put us in such circumstances that would test us and would also show us how much had we evolved spiritually. For example, like even if we were working with colleagues who weren't up to the same evolved state as we were, or if we were working with people who hated us or were jealous of us or had various kinds of negative feelings, even then we would be very calm and very loving towards them, and always very cool, because we were evolved. Now that thing, there's just this point that a work environment or a very an environment full of uh, possible clashes and struggles, etc., this is so not wanted in spiritual life, and this saying was so very very wrong. Now, if we see what the saints say, even Sri Ramakrishna Dev and Vivekananda, they always stressed that being alone is the best thing. Being alone with yourself and uh, living your life in your own way and free to meditate and do whatever you want. That kind of an environment, a very peaceful and calm environment, is always very helpful for a spiritual life. And working among a lot of people where there might be a lot of clashes or ego problems, this is so unwanted. This is absolutely unwanted. If the sadhak is very serious about spiritual life and wants really to progress and evolve, then he should, under all circumstances, avoid any workplace where there might be people who are lesser evolved than him, who wouldn't understand him and would give him uh, trouble and problems every way. Because that in that under those circumstances, our mind is in such a turbulent state, our mind is in so much of stress and strain that we hardly, even when we sit for meditation during the few hours of the day, we wouldn't be able to find that peace and calm that we need. So a very stressful work environment, it absolutely is absolutely not wanted in a spiritual life. That is what I had to say before I start. Now, another point was that think of the mind as you would about your clothing. Now, when you are sitting for meditation or when you are on the path of self-evolution, how much importance would you give to the clothes that you are wearing? Now, it might be very funny, it might sound very funny, but it is true, because in Vedanta, it is said that the soul has five koshas or sheaths or clothes. The apart from, of course, the clothes that we are wearing of cotton or whatever. And the first kosha is Annamaya kosha, the physical body. The physical body, which is made out of the food that we are eating, the water and everything. Uh, this is a cloth also. And then is this the vital body, the Pranamaya kosha, which consists of the vital energies of our body. Then there's this Manomaya kosha, the mind, the sheath of the mind. So the mind is also a cloth. And then there's this Vijnanamaya kosha, which is the intellect, and Anandamaya kosha, which is the causal body. Now, the very higher levels of consciousness and existence don't need to worry about, because at that point of time when we have already overcome all these previous levels, we are already in a very super high state, and we would naturally be very capable of overcoming all other obstacles, small ones, which remain in between, like total like consciousness, or before we become uh, completely like gain the total knowledge. Though, so the higher levels we don't need to really worry about. The thing is that how much would you be concerned about your clothes? Now, I would say that when I am meditating, I would prefer to wear clean clothes. That is all. And so the clothes, if they are clean, if you are wearing very dirty clothes and you are trying to meditate, immediately what happens is you don't feel very good. You don't feel the freshness. So when you're close to nature, when you're sitting like in a very peaceful environment, and you're wearing clean clothes, fresh clothes, naturally you feel good and you can sit. So the same thing we can say about the body, that the body should feel healthy, clean in the sense that yes, you should feel completely clean and healthy. Now, how you would feel clean and healthy depends upon you. Now, if you think that I need to have my bath and then sit for meditation, I need to wear cotton clothes or silk clothes, uh, I need to sit somewhere uh, near to trees and plants and greenery, because that helps too. Or I need to sit in a room which I can close and I can block all the sound, all the disturbance outside. So these all vary from person to person, and it depends upon you. You are free to choose. Apart from that, uh, the body should be healthy, and it should be able to stay in one posture for like 3 to 4 hours without moving. Uh, if it can, if the body can sit and keep up its posture, adhere to its posture without moving for 3 to 4 hours, without complaining of cramps or headaches or joint pains, etc., then it's okay. And you can like really delve deep into meditation. Now, after the body comes the mind, the vital energies, and then the mind. Now, the vital energies, of course, you must feel energetic, and you shouldn't feel very low on energy, very tired or very lethargic, or in that case, of course, you won't be able to meditate very well. And then the mind should be free from negative thoughts of hatred or jealousy or this and that, so that it must be full of positivity, of love and peace. These positive thoughts bring you, also energize you, and uh, they would help you in your meditation. If your mind is full of negative thoughts, or is stressed out and is anxious or something, then of course you won't be able to focus on meditation. So you need a very uh, you need a mind which is not very stressed out, and neither is it very much full of negative feelings. A little bit of negative feelings we always have, but then that can be ignored and you will eventually overcome them. But it shouldn't be too full of negativity. And after that, there's this intellect, and it's almost the same as the mind. At least we don't feel that much of a difference in between the mind and the intellect, but it would be sufficient just to, have a control and have a clean intellect, that you must be able to control your mind and intellect and emotions. You shouldn't be like something had happened in the outside world and you are freaking out over it. Of course, then you just can't meditate. Your intellect and mind should be sharp enough to distinguish between the priorities of your life. If you are prioritizing your family, your relationships, and your job, and this and that, then of course you will be freaking out over every other thing that is happening in the outside world in your life. And if you are prioritizing meditation and spiritual life, then whatever is happening in your life outside that is okay, can be dealt with, and you will eventually overcome and things will settle. So you can focus upon meditation alone. So now regarding this, uh, one thing that had happened to me, and because of which I'm sharing this, is that during the beginning stages, like almost 10 years, I had struggled too much with my mind, and I always was complaining that I couldn't meditate, I couldn't concentrate, and I couldn't focus my mind upon the subject of my meditation. And I want to say that one shouldn't be worried too much or be freaking out too much about it, because we are often influenced by the people around us very much. Not often would I say, I would say 100% of the time, all the time, we are very much influenced by the people who are around us. If they are less evolved than us, and if we are already stressed out with our relationships to them, then that would really pose a hindrance to our meditative life. Now, uh, so that is why usually people who want a meditative life choose to live alone or choose to live in solitude. Now, if we even can't opt for that, we must choose an environment. We must choose an environment which is comparatively peaceful and where we can meditate peacefully. Now, so the mind is often disturbed by the people around us, by the circumstances around us, and also due to past life samskaras and experiences which we don't remember actually, but which are always there in our subconscious mind, and they often come up and disturb our conscious mind. So there's no need absolutely to be stressed out, because as I said, you must treat your mind as you would treat the clothes that you are wearing. So even if the clothing that you're wearing has a stain or is a little bit torn somewhere, it just doesn't matter. So just keep on going. And sadhakas who are beginning, I would suggest, which would have been very helpful if I had known before, is that for a few months in the beginning, just practice sitting in one posture for 3 to 4 hours and just not minding anything. Ignore the chatter of the mind, ignore whatever emotions or thoughts you are feeling. Just sit there and adhere to one posture for 3 to 4 hours. In the beginning, you can start with sitting for 15 minutes. Then you can slowly and gradually uh, take the span of time to half an hour, then 1 hour, then 2 hour, then 3 hour. Like gradually, you can take a time from 2 to 3 months to maybe 6 months, or whatever comfortably you can in any span of time. You can but you have to take the practice up to the point where you can sit in one posture for 3 to 4 hours. No matter you're feeling hot or cold, Doesn't matter if there are mosquitoes or whatever, if there are insects, but you must be able to adhere to one posture, never minding the little irritations in the external world or in your body. Now, when you are up to that, so you are in control of your body and you know that your body will cooperate with you when you are sitting for meditation. After this phase, you go on and you concentrate, you just focus upon the breathing. Now, a regulated breathing does a lot of help in calming and quieting our minds. So, if you uh, one simple practice I can say that you can inhale counting 8, and then again while counting 8 you are exhaling. So while without any japa or without any technique, that is a simple way you can just regulate your breathing, or you can go for any other breathing practice that you know from elsewhere. Now, when you are bringing your breathing into control and you are regulating your breathing, it not only should be continued for 3 to 4 hours during the time that you are meditating, but you should try to regulate your breathing throughout the day whenever you are aware of your breathing. That way, you are always recentered upon yourself. You aren't swayed too much by what is going on outside. You can just breathe in and okay, it's just fine, and you can deal with whatever is happening in your life. So that goes a very long way, not only for your meditation, but also to deal with your life just in a general way, to keep your cool no matter what the situation is. So, regulated breathing. When you have practiced that enough for maybe 2 months, 3 months, or whatever, and you feel that your mind is has quietened down a bit, and there are you can just relax. You can feel relaxed when you are sitting for 3 to 4 hours, and when you're breathing very calmly and you feel relaxed. At that point of time, you take your focus to your mind. Now, there are various meditation techniques that you can follow. There's Kundali Pranayam, there's lots and lots focus on the Trinetra or on the heart chakra. Imagine something, but I would always say don't go into imagining a lot. There would be some techniques that would tell you to imagine our kundali like a snake, or that there's a lotus in our heart, and when we meditate it is blooming, and this and that. Don't go in for too much of imagination, because whatever you are imagining and whatever you continue to imagine during meditation, when you start experiencing something, you will experience those your own imaginations as if they were real and true. So don't imagine anything. Whatever kind of meditation, whatever technique of meditation you choose, let them be grounded to reality. Reality is the level in which we are, not imagining something that we can't experience right now. So let's not imagine snakes and lotuses or whatever, and aura or lights and this and that, but just be grounded to reality and choose any technique. And japa, this telling names or repeating a mantra, this is just to keep the mind focused on the present moment. You can read the book by Eckhart Tolle. Uh, he had a book something about the present moment, focusing our awareness and being always aware about the present moment. So that is very helpful, and practicing it throughout the day is very helpful. So during the time of meditation, keeping the mind in the present moment. Like if we are too much swayed by thoughts, it's a good practice for maybe a few months to repeat a mantra or repeat any whatever you want, om or whatever. So this repeating helps the mind to remain focused at the upon the present moment. Now, one feels, when the sadhak feels, when you feel that okay, like I am very well focused now, and my mind isn't very much going uh, into thinking about past memories, or isn't imagining about the future, and is very much able to relax and keep its focus upon the present moment, then you can move on to more sophisticated techniques of meditation, which you might find helpful. I wouldn't suggest. It totally depends upon your inclinations, your likes, dislikes, and whatever you feel like. Uh, a sadhak should always feel and follow his own intuition. It is best always to follow his or her own intuition. So, whichever way of meditation you want to whichever spiritual guru or ashram you want to follow, you can follow, and you can take initiation. If you don't want to take initiation, you are absolutely free, and I just wouldn't say that initiation is necessary in the spiritual path. What is necessary is how you connect to the divine. If you can connect to the divine very naturally, you must just move on, and there is no need to follow a certain guru or take initiation and this and that. There are innumerable videos of meditation in YouTube, whichever you find nice. But one thing, you mustn't jump after this point, you mustn't jump from one technique of meditation to another. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, that when you are digging the ground for water, you have to continue digging in one place so that you reach the underground water. Now, if one keeps digging here and there and somewhere or somewhere else every other day, then naturally he wouldn't find the water anywhere. Meditation is something that you are delving deep inside you. You should go deeper and deeper and deeper. That can only be done when you are following one particular practice of meditation. After this point, when you are already able to sit for 3 to 4 hours uh, one one time, and you have a regulated breathing more or less, and you can more or less focus your mind upon the present moment, and you are not going into daydreaming or thinking about the future or freaking about some other external happening that is going on. So, and you have control over your body, your mind, your breathing. So your vital energies, and your Annamaya Kosha, the body, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellect, the Pranamaya Kosha, the vital body, the Manamaya Kosha, the mind. So you have more or less control over these, and you can sit. At that point of time, you must try to follow one particular technique of meditation, and every day you must first start like, well, mind, I'm going to take you more inside and delve deeper and go deeper and go deeper. So, and you have to go on deeper and keep up your patience, and don't worry too much about spiritual experiences. They would come on their own. It's like science. You light, if you are able to light a fire, you will have the warmth. If you are digging into you, you will find the water, because the spark of the divine is within every one of us, and it's an holographic universe. It's a holographic universe, and the it's the same thing. The microcosm and the microcosm and macrocosm is the same of the it's made up of the same pattern. So it is within you. It is definitely so. There is no question of failure here. The only question is that you have to keep up the patience, and you have to just carry on doing. Now, there are, at this point of time, there are really very good gurus also, and if you really feel the need to be initiated, I would suggest this Sadhguru's Inner Engineering program, and then there is also this um, some other Swami, um, Swami Nityananda of somewhere near Bangalore, India. and he also has that inner awakening program for 21 days. So there are many such things which you can go for and practice and then carry on. I am not attached or to any of these institutions. I'm not in any way involved with them. I don't know what they teach. I follow my own intuition. I do my own sort of meditation, and I think I am really progressing and evolving, and have come a long, long way in the path of spiritual evolution. So, thank you for hearing me out. Namaste. And may we all evolve towards the best version of ourselves. Thank you.